Right, so today Christmas Eve. Because I don't keep up with the days and the dates and shit. You see, I had to act her like, bang, today Christmas Eve? Yeah, but it's Christmas Eve. So, with a syphilis dick, with a corona dick, the whole nine, you hear me? And the reason I'm saying that is because we have been tricked into celebrating and participating in a ritual. So when you see the Christmas tree, when you see the gift giving, these are magic rituals, but these are negative magic rituals. So a lot of us that's in the university, we starting to get more familiar with magic. But see, when you realize that magic has been practiced around you, once you understand what magic is, which we are understanding that now, that we live in a magnetic realm. All right, we are magnetic beings. Okay, we exist on a certain frequency. Okay, so we have an aura field. Let me remind you of that. We have an aura field around you, which is an electromagnetic field of energy. Okay, and they call it an aura. Okay, so because of that, magic is a science of the realm. It was an ancient saying where people would say magic is just science that we simply don't understand yet. And this is true. Magic is that. Magic is a science. Okay, so when you're talking about rituals, okay, a ritual is a part of a magical ceremony to manifest. So it's no different than me sitting here channeling the Orisha's energy by lighting candles and putting my intent into the candle before we gave the lecture for us to be protected on this download this evening while for the download to reach everybody's soul. All right, that's why I put the intent in the candle for everybody that tunes into this live to have the power to break free through their crown chakra right now, so that they can connect to the spiritual realm. Okay, the crown chakra helps you connect to the spiritual realm. All right, it helps you disconnect from this earthly realm. All right, so things like time, the more you disconnect from the physical realm and you intertwine with the spiritual realm, you begin to see that flesh is not real. You begin to see that life and death is not real. You begin to see the matrix for what it is, right? You begin to see it. You begin to see that you are everything and everything truly is you. So we've been celebrating this Christmas holiday. And all of the holidays are rituals toward negative deities. So there's a thing in magic called conjuring. If you want to conjure up, you can conjure up anyone's spirit and soul because we are energy, and energy is an immortal thing. We are immortal beings, all right? Energy is an immortal thing. So you can conjure up anybody's energy, whether it be a relative who passed away, all right? Whether it be one of the Orishas, whether it be one of the archangels, whether it be one of the angels, the cherubim, the seraphim, whether it be the ancient ones, whether it be certain Anunnaki gods and goddesses back home on our headquarter planet, which is Sirius X, whether it be connecting to certain elements, you can conjure up the spirit and soul of anything that has life force in it, or ashe, as we call it in our ancient tongue. Because before we said light, I've been teaching a lot of y'all lately, because I see a lot of people saying ashe after when they speak, because we getting back to nature, and that's okay. But I wanted to let everybody know that ashe is not like amen, because people will say what they want about da 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 ashe, da 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 ashe, and because we come from what we've been westernized, okay. As carbonated beings, non-ether beings, the masters of the multiverse, right? They had to bleach our soul of its memory so that we wouldn't retain that energy and that information, so that we would never take over the planet again. So we come from Christianity. Like myself, I keep telling you, I grew up in a Christian household. My whole family still fucking Christian to this day, other than like my mom and maybe my sister. You feel me? But my immediate family, like that I come from, they was all Christian. Okay, and my mom was like kind of more Muslim, right? So I grew up with both households. I was able to get the Islamic backdrop as well as the Catholic. I mean, not Catholic. We ain't do no Catholic. I'm from the hood, nigga. Wasn't Catholic shit. Either your ass was Baptist, or your ass was Jehovah Witness, or your ass was a Muslim. In the hood, that's how we coming. Or your ass ain't shit. You don't see too many black Catholic folk, and you never seen too many black Catholic folk. Okay, so you got to understand, most of us, we grow up Baptist, Christian, which is all say another denomination of Christianity. So let's remove Baptist, okay? Your ass grew up Christian, all right? Or you was Muslim or Jehovah Witness, which is Jehovah Witness is like another denomination of Christianity. The only difference about the Jehovah Witnesses is because they're a denomination, they are able to add their own things in it, all right? So one of the main things the whole Jehovah Witnesses added was that they did not believe in Christianity, in celebrating Christmas and holidays. So that's one things, like I said, let's give it up. For all the JWs out there, like I said, they had it right all along. The niggas was right all along. But other than that, everything else is still based around rituals and Christianity. Okay, so you got to understand that these are all rituals. Okay, when you mention in the Orishas, the saints in the Catholic religion, their version of the Orishas would be the saints. Okay, now everything that we did, they tried to replicate and duplicate and water it down. So their version of the Orishas would be the saints. That's why I be like, fuck all the saints. You see what I'm saying? Fuck all the saints. You feel me? Now, the reason I say that is because I know that these are white versions of the Orishas. And you trying to push these white saints on us gods. Instead of giving us the Orishas, all right, what we come from, they want to give us saints. You see what I'm saying? Instead of giving us, the true historical facts about the ancient ones and about the Anunnaki and about these other extraterrestrial races that we come from, they want to give us Jesus, Daniel, David, Ezekiel. You get what I'm saying? John the Baptist and all them other niggas they made up. But them stories all have a little truth in them because they are backed by true stories that took place within us. So this whole Christmas thing, what is Christmas? Christmas represents the winter solstice. Now, what is the winter solstice? The winter solstice is the moment in time where this spell of winter, which we know winter is man-made technology, right? It was a spell that was given to the human beings and the reptilians, right? Remember, the human beings, the hierarchy human beings formed a pact, a covenant with the reptilian race and the Pleiadian race. So it's been those three, the Pleiadians, the reptilian race, the Alpha Draconian reptilians to be exact, combined with the hierarchy human beings, which is the 13 bloodlines controlling us all along. Okay, the whole time. That's who has been setting up all the laws, the whole matrix, the whole social engineering. That's who it's been the whole time. So that's the ops. Okay, everybody working for them is the ops. Okay, and the attack is on us, the God species, your black and your Latino people of today. All right, because we are the ancient ones. We hold the keys to the Ashe in our genetics, in our DEA, our deoxyetheric acid, which is what they fear all along. Okay. Meanwhile, we were never taught about prayer, the truth in prayer. We aren't supposed to pray. We're supposed to meditate because each finger represents a certain element: plasma energy, fire, earth, air, water. All right. So that's why you have even 5 fingers. All right. And when you meditate, right, you use certain mudras, right? Certain mudras, right? To bring in certain elements to connect your Ashe to, which puts you more in tune with the forces around you. That's the true meaning of going within. That's the true meaning of meditation. All right. Even when you meditate sitting down, you're only supposed to sit down if you're trying to work on the root chakra, the sacral chakra. Now, you can still sit down in meditation working on any chakra or manifesting any type of rituals or magic, right? But the sitting down part of meditation that is popularized, that's only mandatory when you are trying to work on either the root chakra or the sacral chakra, because those are the 2 lowest chakras that sit right next to the perineum or the anus, right? Your asshole, okay? For those who don't know what the perineum is right there by your asshole, okay? So I'm just giving you the scientific words for it. But your perineum and your anus, right? Your asshole, all right, actually have a vortex right there, which is where your root chakra is at. And above that is your sacral chakra, which your sacral chakra is where your penis and your vagina is at. So that's why the vagina is so close to the asshole, because it's the root chakra right next to the sacral chakra. That's why the dick and balls are so close to the asshole too, right? You got your asshole, and not too many inches from that, your nuts is right there hanging, and then you got your dick, right? So, and anybody, you know what I'm saying, I like y'all never heard these words before, man. Y'all know we keep it real over rich in here. You feel me? We not sugarcoating nothing for nobody, or they mama, or they auntie's best friend, little cousin. You feel me? So this is the true reason of sitting down doing meditation. All right. Now, why is that big? Because that falls in line right next to prayer. And we know that prayer, most prayers that was coming from us was given to who? Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Because we were taught that he was God. Okay. We was taught that Jesus was God. Even though Jesus said himself that he wasn't God, they still tell niggas that he's God. More lies in the Bible, right? Because if you go read the gospel, Jesus clearly told niggas, I'm not God. Okay? But somehow, niggas still say, thank you, Jesus. So, because that's what they force fed us. Now, why is Jesus important? Why is we talk about this white Jesus? Because this white Jesus is supposed to be his birthday on Christmas, right? Let's not forget whose birthday is supposed to be tomorrow, all right? Whose solar day is supposed to be tomorrow? It's supposed to be Jesus Christ of Nazareth, all right? But let's talk deeper. Okay, if you go look in the Bible, Jesus said that they said that when Jesus was born, the flocks were out, the sheep were in the fields grazing the grass. Okay, let me repeat that. They say that when Jesus was born, in their Bible, this is in my words, their Bible. So for all the Christians and the saints out there, you feel me, you Catholics and people, if I'm fucking up your groove today, exit the live. Don't report the live. Just exit it. Just exit it and finish sipping your eggnog and singing your jingles. You feel me? But at the end of the day, it said in their Bible that Jesus, when he was born, the sheep were out grazing the grass. The flocks were out. But somehow we never stopped to think like, hold the fuck on. Now, if we're celebrating Jesus' birthday every Christmas and we celebrate Easter supposed to be when he rose, how the fuck was these sheep out? Because in the wintertime, we all know ain't no everything dead. Ain't no grass. Ain't no motherfucking grass. So what the fuck was these sheep's grazing on? What was they eating on? That's what they say. We seen a star and, shepherds, the flocks were out when Jesus was coming. Go read it. All right. But that doesn't sound like wintertime to me. Okay. That sounds like spring or summer or some shit when we know the grass is here and we know these sheep can eat off the grass. Okay. So right there, they kind of pretty much told you that if Jesus did exist, his birthday would not be in the wintertime. So now one must ask themselves, okay, then what the fuck are we doing then on the 25th? What the fuck is this about? Because we know this nigga Jesus wasn't on his way here because y'all said the sheep was out. And ain't no sheep out grazing no grass in no wintertime. See what I'm saying? Everything put up, including us. Normally, because it's normally flooded with snow and a lot of, it's no real cold and snowing. It ain't going to be no winter this year. And I told y'all that. I told y'all last year that last year was the last winter. We didn't have a winter last year. We didn't have a winter before that. We haven't really had a real winter, y'all. If y'all paying attention, we really haven't had a real winter, nigga, in years. You feel me? I think y'all forgot what winter used to be like around this motherfucker. Now, unless you a blue crystal, baby, you got all the excuses in the world. Y'all 21 and under, niggas just got here. Niggas don't, y'all can't really tell no difference. But if your ass over 25, you should be able to look at this shit like, hold on, nigga, we ain't had no winter in about 8-9 years, nigga. Winter used to be winter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, winter would start around October. Early October, nigga, leaves was falling. By Halloween, snow was on the ground. I remember snowballing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, we fresh out of school with it too. Niggas Halloween. Nigga, eggs used to be frozen. Nigga, I remember, look, it used to be so cold when Halloween hit. You feel me? Because winter always started really beginning of October, fall, right? Fall really was August, September. End of August going into September, right? Winter used to start around October 1st. Nigga, by the time Halloween get here, be snow. I remember freezing eggs. Cause we'd egg your ass, right? But then sometimes we'd get grimy and freeze them bitches. You feel me? And motherfucker hit you with a frozen egg, you gonna think a nigga shot you. I'm talking about we used to stop in Chicago, nigga. We get the bus driving out. We be at the bus stop, nigga. Be at 40 project kids, nigga. We out there hoodied up. You know what I'm saying? I'm from 1100, so we out there deep, nigga. We at the division bus stop, nigga. Soon as the bus driver pull up, think we finna get on that bitch. Yeah, we gonna get on, all right, nigga. Get on that bitch. Egg his ass. We get on that bitch. We egging the whole bus. Niggas in the back like dunking eggs. Nigga. Then we run off the bus. You feel me? On the real. We run off the bus. I'm talking about don't come to our bus stop on Halloween. We yoking your ass down. Don't give a fuck how fresh the mics was that day, how good you was looking. Jordan always had some Jordans dropped on Halloween. You know what I'm saying, nigga? We fucking you up. But we was dunking niggas in the snow, all that, and that was Halloween. By the time we got to Christmas, nigga, niggas out there in the tundra. Snow damn near right here. You know what I'm saying? And we still had to go to school in the shop. You feel me? So I ain't seen no winter like that in a minute. You see what I'm saying? I ain't really seen a real winter in a minute. But like I told y'all, it wasn't gonna be no winter this year. Now, you got your few states where, they gonna try to turn the snow on because they still got certain access points. They still got certain energetic points where they can make a little something happen. Heart isn't fully down yet. It's breaking down. So they still gonna be able to manipulate a little bit. But the system, this shit is over with. The system is shutting down. You feel me? We about to be in January, right? So literally, Christmas was always truly about, from a pagan standpoint, because it's a pagan holiday that was started in Germany. It was always about catching the winter solstice and trying to channel in as many principalities, negative principalities, as they can. And in order to channel in all these principalities, they needed the help of us. Okay? Because they don't have any ancestors. They don't have any souls. So they lack the magnetism. So they had to come up with a creative way to get us to participate in the ritual. Because if you know anything about magic, one person is powerful in magic. But the more people you bring into a ritual, the more powerful the ritual is. Okay? Why do you think we were so powerful during the Haitian Revolution? When we channeled the energy of Ogun, right? We sat there 1,000+ deep, all meditating, channeling the same energy, and we participated in a ritual where we lit certain candles, we had certain herbs and spices, and we put them down, and we sang certain songs. This was all a part of the ritual, all right? Because chanting, all of that is part of a ritual. See, you have been lied to about magic, so you have no clue that you have been participating in magic rituals. That's what the fuck the holiday is. That's what the Christmas tree is about. That's what the star on top of the Christmas tree is about. That's what the Christmas gifts is about. That's what the gift giving is about. That's what all the Christmas songs, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. All these little hymns, right? All these little jingles that we would sing. These are all chants. And if you know anything about magic, chanting, vibration is very, very powerful. Okay. And it's complete because most magic rituals is going to also require you to call upon a higher advanced spiritual deity. So that's just like me playing a singing bowl and then lighting the candle and saying my intent and pulling old Orishas right here. That's a part of a ritual. That's a ritual, right? That's a small ritual, right? You're doing the same thing. Instead of lighting the candle, you light the Christmas tree up with ornaments, right? Instead of pulling in the Orishas or any advanced beings that we studied in our ancient African culture, if you want to call us that, or Latino culture, Santeria, you want to call us that, whatever you want to call us. Fuck you and your names and your misnomers, all right? Whatever you want to label us as and call us, right? But they replaced that, so they give you Santa Claus and Jesus. So instead of saying Obatala, you like Jesus. Instead of saying Orula, Okosi, Ogun, talking to the ancient ones, calling certain archangels, you talk about Jesus and Santa Claus. You see? All the way down to the colors, red and green. White represents them, the dominant species which they had ruling the planet, the white race. Everything has been whitewashed. The red represents the shedding of blood, as well as the root chakra, which they want to emphasize that energy. Okay? The green always represented the heart chakra in the land. Okay? So this is why they use certain colors. Now, when you talking about the Christmas tree, to understand what the Christmas tree come from, you have to understand, you got to go back to Babylon. Okay? Ancient Babylon and King Nimrod. Okay? King Nimrod was the king of Babylon, who had sex with his own motherfucking mom and got her pregnant. They had a son that I like to call King T, but the books call him Tammuz. Okay? King Nimrod had a son with his mother. Okay? So, because the winter solstice, based upon their days, is really December 20th to like December 23rd. December 21st is actually, and December 23rd, the reason they celebrate the winter solstice is because this is when they first, this is the energy when the spell of winter technology It's at its weakest point. Okay? So what they say, if you go look up about the winter solstice, they say the sun stays still for 3 days. And then it comes back pure. So really, the winter solstice represents the end of wintertime. Okay? A lot of people don't know that, but it does. The winter solstice represents the end of wintertime. That 3-day period where they say the sun is standing still and then it's born again, which is where they get their story from of Jesus, being dead for 3 days and he rose, right? It's all about the winter solstice. But the winter solstice is based on, remember, because winter isn't real. Here, right? Winter is not real. All right? Winter is a spell that was brought to the planet by the dark elves from planet Nern. Used to freeze our planet out because the cool air weakens us. Cold is a weapon to us. Stand your ass outside in the cold right now. It's still chilly around this bitch now. And it weakens you. But when that sun is fully on you, you feel a whole different way. Right? So the winter solstice represents when the spell is at the weakest point. And the sun, they say the sun stands still, then is reborn again. No, what's happening is the spell breaks down right there. The spell breaks down right there. And then January, February is ushering you right into spring. And spring is the platform that ushers you right into the summertime. Because spring weather and summertime weather and what they call fall weather are the natural seasons. We only had 3 seasons. Spring, summer, fall. We never had no winter. If we had a motherfucking winter, then what the fuck was the Africans doing? Because they told us that the Africans had shoes on, had walked around with no shoes on their feet. Hell, they said we was Africans. And they said we walked around with no shoes on our feet. And then when the white man discovered us in Europe, we was walking around with baskets of fruit on our motherfucking head. You see what I'm saying? That's what they told us. So what the fuck was they doing to keep warm in the wintertime then? You said the Indians was over here, a red people. Because we the Indians, but they didn't tell us that. They said we was from Africa and that there was another group of people over here that was red people called the Indians. Okay, they ain't had no moccasins and none of that shit before y'all came along. Because y'all said y'all traded furs with them and clothes with them because they were savages. They called the aboriginals, the indigenous people of the land, the natives of the land, they called us savages. All right? Even though they the real savages that came to our shit, though. But we the savages in their history books. And they said, nigga, we wasn't doing shit with our lives before the white man discovered us. Right? That's what they teach us. So, okay, how was they surviving these harsh winters then? If it was always winter here, how was they surviving this shit? How was they surviving it? Niggas ain't need no pellies. Niggas ain't had no Ugg boots on. None of that. So how was they surviving? Wasn't no bubble coats. Niggas ain't had no hoodies. Niggas ain't had no masks. None of that. How was they surviving winter? If winter was always a part of the planet. If the planet was all... Nowhere in this motherfucking planet is cold, man. Right? So this whole celebration of the winter solstice lies. It's all based around King Nimrod and the fact that he was the king of ancient Babylon. Okay? He is the king of ancient Babylon. Nimrod. And who were the Babylonians? The first group of human beings that was starting to learn about the enchantments. So they started learning how to build these cities. They learned they was mastering our teachings. And they took our teachings and used them for negative. Now, they can never master the teachings better than us. No. But it's just like anything. You could teach somebody something and they can get real good at it. And sometimes they can get better than you at it. But they was taking all these teachers and they started building. But they had a negative intent, though. King Nimrod, they talk about this Tower of Babel that belonged to the Babylonians. And the Babylonians were doing some of the worst shit you could think of. Now go look up Christmas. Google Christmas and talk about the pagans and how they handle Christmas. On Christmas, ain't no criminals get punished. I'm talking about an ancient Christmas, they didn't punish criminals. It was the one day where they would let lawlessness run around the city because it used to be called Saturnalia. Saturnalia. Right? And the pagans are human beings. Just another name for them, just like the Celtics, the Vikings, the Scandinavians. All these titles will just throw you off the trail of who the fuck they really is. Same motherfuckers that run shit today. But the pagans originally, lawlessness was allowed that day. Think of the purge. You can kill shit, all that on Christmas. Santa like to let little kids sit on his lap. Where you think he get that? Where that tradition started? Remember, you go sit on Santa's lap, little kids sitting on this grown ass nigga lap with this beard. See, you didn't think about how weird that shit was then. Nigga, that's some pedophile shit. Nigga, sometimes you see the little kids crying. I don't even know this nigga. We'll sit on your lap, fam. I'll take a gift though. Fuck, I gotta sit on your lap for. Nigga, you could give me the gift without touching me. We never thought about that. So that whole tradition, even sitting on Santa's lap, the pagans they into pedophilia, man. These all your sinners of the day. All your congressmen, all your politicians, the same motherfuckers. And they used to take the kids, sit them on their lap, molest them, touch them, all of that on Christmas. That's the original, where that started from. The whole mistletoe, do you know what the mistletoe is? The mistletoe is a parasite in the plant kingdom. The mistletoe will drain the nutrients off any plant that you put it on. Google about the mistletoe. Just like you got good plants, you got negative ones. Just like you got good gods, you got negative ones. Right? That's what Zeus and them represent. I told you it's duality in all things. You got good reptilians and you got bad ones. You got good Pleiadians, you got bad ones. As above, so below. And that goes down to the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom. This is why when you in practicing magic, you got to be careful too. Because you don't want to manifest a trickster spirit that's more advanced than you. Now they using you to do all type of shit. Got you all outside of yourself. Yes, it's real in the spiritual realm. As above, so below. But this is some deep shit when you talk about what Christmas is really celebrated for. The energy that's being celebrated. That they had us celebrating year after year, including myself. So you're not alone in that. Don't feel, oh man, it's just me. Nigga, I celebrated it too. But nigga, y'all get a hoverboard or something, you don't see no wrappings, you don't see. It used to be like that too with me. But if we are to rise, we got to rise all the way. You can't halfway rise. Thank you. You can't halfway rise. Man would give, the gift giving comes from the man giving gifts to each other. For any god or goddess that participates in homosexuality today, that's why I told you, man. I would never judge you, man. I wouldn't turn my back on you, treat you differently. Because that was forced on some of us. But who started it was them. That's what you got to know. You ain't started. You got a pussy. You ain't just want to start licking pussy. That shit started with them. During Saturnalia. During celebrating these festivities. Because they were pledging allegiance to their side. It's a ritual. It's an actual ritual that's just being broadcast to the masses. It's a satanic ritual that's broadcasted to the masses. Making it that much more powerful because we all participate in it. So the giving was from the man. The man would beat their wives. They would get drunk and beat their wives. Beat her till blood get on the wife beater. If the blood ain't get on the wife beater that you got on, you ain't beat your wife right. We talk about them. These they traditions. That white tank top, that's why it's called a wife beater. That shit started with Christmas. They would get drunk, then they would beat on their wives. Then they would go to these parties, these gatherings with nothing but men there. Just all men. Because they don't like women. They don't even like their own white women. I'm talking about the hierarchy of human beings. They don't even like their own white women. History shows that us mistreating our goddesses, that was forced upon us. That was taught to us through social engineering. That ain't how we was from jump, from source, from essence. That ain't how who we is. But them, on the other hand, that's who they are. They even made a whole book called the Bible that says it's the woman's fault. If Eve ain't bite the apple, the world wouldn't be fucked up. That's basically what they tell you in the Bible. So during this Christmas, they would get drunk, beat their wives, go to these gatherings, give gifts to other men, and have orgies and sex with each other while singing these Christmas songs. And these were all rituals to bring in Set, which is another name for Saturn, which is another name for Yakub, which is another name for Prometheus, which is another name for Marduk, which is another name for Enki and Enlil, which is another name for Satan, Zeus. Saturn is another name for Set, which is another name for goddamn Satan, man. See, they trick you because they flip all these different names. All these different names, you be lost. You think of these different people. Same motherfucker. That's why it was called Saturnalia. That's what I'm trying to get you to see what the fuck we were celebrating. What side we was on. We know who Satan is, Zeus. And before it was called Christmas, it was called Saturnalia. And I'm just telling you the shit that they did. Why the tradition to sit kids on Santa's lap? And for a Santa, you can rearrange them letters and you're going to get Satan. You can rearrange a few letters and you had Satan. Right back to square one. The elves started off as evil. They just tried to rewrite this shit in the 1930s. The commercialize it to the world. You got the Krampus, an evil demon. That's Santa's helper, right? All these songs. You see me? We didn't even listen to what they had us singing. So celebrating the celebrating tactics, all this was done on the 25th, not for Jesus, but this festivities was done to reel in the energy of Satan, right? But moreover, it was also paying homage to Tammuz, which was the son of Nimrod. Because Nimrod, so celebrating Christmas, you really celebrate Nimrod, death date and the birth date of his son. Because in ancient Babylon, that the Tower of Babel right? That really represented all these crystal pyramids that we had. But that ain't how they tell the story in the Bible. They flip it. Satan tricky. So he tell you that they was building this Tower of Babel in his version to try to get closer to God. And then God became upset and knocked the tower down because they was trying to rise above God, and he scattered the land. But we talk about the Babylonian society. And they did everything that motherfucker and the pagans celebrated on Christmas. That's why they celebrated it. Because the Babylonians, that's how they lived. The pedophilia with the little kids, the beating of the women and treating the women like they ain't shit. They rather was having sex with the man was having sex with the man. They wasn't even trying to fuck with no women. The Babylonians. And then a lot of the Babylonian women started having sex with each other because of the way the man was treating them. So this is where the lesbian, homosexual, that's where that starts from. Then they would dress little boys up with wigs. So this is where the transsexual, that's where that starts from. Oh, that started in Babylon. That's what you got to know. Now, if that's how you is today, live your life. As long as your vibration high. Right? But it's important that you know that this shit ain't start with no LGBTQ movement. This shit go way back. While you be in Rome, you see statues, niggas be cut up, naked, dicks hanging. You know what I'm saying? You don't see not one goddess or no one woman naked, none of that. You feel me? You can't get one of them. Even the Statue of motherfucking Liberty, they ain't got that bitch covered up. They didn't unroll that hoe. You hear me? They got that bitch, she just up there posted with a gown on. They dropped the gown, let the titties show. They sold dick on anus, right? That they motherfucking then covered her up. But you go through Europe, you see niggas naked in a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Dick balls hanging everywhere. But see, you never thought, you don't think about that shit though. Like, but you got the Statue of Liberty, you got her covered up though. That's how bad they hate women. You got her covered up though. You might as well do a mask on the whole face. Now she looking like she over in Iran some motherfucking where, because all this is covered up. But we can go to Europe and niggas is nice and cut, niggas cut up, looking to the sky, dig out. Like, why you ain't cover Buddy up though? But you want to cover her up though. You left Buddy hanging, but you want to cover. Niggas, what happened to unisex? Why they both can't be naked? You see what I'm saying? They don't like women. They don't see no titties, no nothing. It's a deep-rooted dislike for women amongst them. Nigga, you know if it was us, nigga, she would have been naked. You know if a nigga designed it, you would have seen a firmer cut on the breast, more ass or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making it make sense right now. That's all. Y'all laughing because y'all know this shit real. Like, them ain't never think about that. They do got her covered up, but over in Europe, them niggas is just hanging. You feel me? Niggas hanging. You know what I'm saying? For real. So, that's because this is where it started at. They don't like women. And all this started in Babylon. So, when King Nimrod had sex with his own mother, okay? It impregnated his own mother. And they had a son. And King Nimrod, this is where the Christmas tree come from. This is what it represents. When King Nimrod got killed in battle, right? And guess who that Babylonians was battling with? Us. Because they were still trying to take our land, nigga. Every war in history that was ever fought was always us versus them, nigga. That's what you need to know. Civil War, all them wars up to World War I and World War II, nigga. All them Mexican-American war, all these wars, even when they talk about the wars overseas, France versus nigga, that was them versus us. So when Nimrod got killed in battle, his mother, because she, in the spot where he died, they said a tree sprouted. But that ain't what really happened. He died. She drug him to a tree, dug him under the tree. The tree she dug him under was an evergreen tree. And every year she would go and put that 5-point star on top of the tree in memory of him, his mother, his mom, Nimrod. Every year she would like go to that tree and she would put a star on it and light it. You feel me? And light it. And that 5-point star represents us, the 5 elements of creation, of force. That's used in what? Look at it, a 5-point star, where you gonna see it at? Every time you're gonna see it in what? When you dealing with magic. When you dealing with magic. When white people want to use our magic, they gotta draw out that same 5-point star and put a circle around it. The circle is the protective circle for their ass because they ain't got no ancestors to call on, so they'll get fucked up fucking with this spiritual shit. So to not get fucked up, they gotta draw a circle. Any white human being that practice witchcraft or practice this shit, they gonna tell you. You feel me? If they practice magic, because remember, magic is about energy. So if you use energy for bad, that's when you use the magic for bad. That's what makes it like witchcraft. Negative. You feel me? Any human being that practice magic, they know I ain't lying. They're going to be like, yeah, we got it. If they really practice the shit, yeah, we got to make that circle. Because they don't have no ancestors to call on. They will get fucked up in this spiritual world trying to tap into some shit without that circle. That circle prevents the spirits from touching them, from getting close to them. We don't need to draw no circle. But that's why you see that motherfucking star on top of the tree. Because you had human beings. They was human beings. The Babylonians, they was human beings. Living like that. We knew how to live. We never lived like that. They forced this shit on us after the Emancipation Proclamation. Then we became enslaved. Then niggas integrated into their schooling and got reprogrammed. Then they pushed drugs into our communities to fuck us, the rest of us up. That's how that went. Then they started dividing us, and that's how we get to where we are today, nigga. But during that time, we was on their ass. It was back and forth. And that's what they taking our star, put the star up there, let me light it, tapping into the forces of magic, because guess what? Whose side are they on? It's witchcraft when they doing it, because they on Satan's side, which is Zeus, which is one of our brothers. Remember, Zeus was one of us. You can't forget that. He's at the top of that. He's at the top of that throne. And Lucifer is his prince of that army. Them two different individuals. Lucifer and Satan. Or Lucifer and Zeus, which is his real spiritual name. You see what I'm saying? So when his mom was doing that with the star, that was still making her donate her energy to their God. Remember, who created them? Zeus. So they not wrong for worshiping Satan, nigga. That's their creator. You get what I'm saying? Nigga, they supposed to worship Satan. If they don't worship Satan, they just vibrate super high. Facts. Satan created them. And the human beings that's able to break away from that and open their pineal gland, them be the high vibrational ones. But it's not that many because they were created to do that. So very few of them got that in them to fight against that natural essence of theirs to break from that. That's why the ones that do break from that, I fucks with them. Feel me? But it's very few that break from that. You got to understand that it's a genetic thing. They can't help themselves. It's genetics, nigga. They're bred this way. Like we bred how we bred. They bred how they bred. When something is bred to be a certain way, it's hard to break from what you bred to be, man. You know what I'm saying? They were infused with a dislike for us, for they were created to destroy us. He created them to conquer us and destroy us. You can't forget what he did. You can't forget the reason they were even created. So they doing their motherfucking job. They doing what they supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole reason they was created. Like I say, they called him Yakub in certain stories, but he told his uncle, he told the elders, I will create a race that's going to destroy these people. He wanted to destroy his own people from jump as a young soul. You know what I'm saying? As a young soul, he felt like that toward us. And then as he matured, he stood on what he felt. So when King Nimrod's mom was going to that tree every year, she putting that on top of the tree. She's paying essence to him. Now, on the 25th, because he died like would have been they 23rd, 22nd day. Now that 25th, remember she was pregnant. And they had a son. So, the 25th was always used to pay homage to King Nimrod and his son. From his mom and they people at first. And then when the Babylonians was defeated, right? And they had just certain other tribes of them left. Then, you know, the pagans came along, which was just a new name for the era and the time. And they kept it going. Oh, okay, well, shit. That's what the Babylonians was doing, so we're going to keep it going. Okay, and then it dropped down to our time, right? You start getting closer to our era. And then like that, we need a way to keep this going and bring everybody into it. So then they started making they renamed it from Saturnalia to Christmas. And then they started commercializing it a little more to bring all of us into helping them manifest. So we manifesting all these negative forces when we celebrating this day. And didn't even know it. But we woke now. We remember again who we are. So we can't halfway do it. If you just not waking up, fuck it. Just give a nigga a gift. But all that, hey, Merry Christmas. Don't drop in vibration for don't help them. Don't drop in vibration like that. Shit, we love our family. Shit. Vibe with your family or something. You know what I'm saying? Vibe with your family, but without forcing it on them either, because they might not be ready for this type of information to rise on that frequency. Okay, cool, but don't lower your vibration trying to kick it amongst them, because you know better. You know better, so you ain't got no excuse. They do, because they don't. But peace to the God, the goddess of the planet Kai, man. We finna come right back. Now we rise. One.